Hello and welcome back to Running on Pixie Dust, my podcast and YouTube series. I am your host, Annika, and I'm super excited for this week's episode because I have another special guest. But before I introduce her, a little background on the podcast. If you've been following along, then you know I've been chatting up all things Orlando, Run Disney, but in particular, training for the Dopey Challenge 2023 for the very first time. And if you don't know what that is by now, you really should. This is week 23. Come on, people. But anyway, it's the 5K, 10K, half marathon, and full marathon in 4 consecutive days. And we're getting real close. So, anyways, welcome to week 23, aka post week 23 of the Jeff Galloway training schedule. This is episode 16, and I'm so excited to have you meet Shruthi.
Hi.
Welcome, Shruthi. I've been trying to get you on the podcast for like weeks and weeks and weeks.
We've been busy training.
No, we're busy gals. We are busy gals, and just in case you're watching on YouTube and or listening and wondering like why this might sound different, is because we're sharing one microphone today because my second microphone decided it did not want to work anymore. It is on strike and it is done. So, sorry about that, but it's fine. It's all fine. This is a budget podcast, aka for free, and there's no money in this podcast, but it's fine. Anyways, let's meet Shruthi. So I'm so excited to have you on. Let's learn a little bit about you, like just a quick fun fact or anything you want the world to know about Shruthi.
All right. Well, hi, I'm Shruthi. I always introduce myself as Ruthie with a sh, so in case the name is kind of confusing. I met Annika through the Run Disney community and the internet, because that's just how you make friends these days, right?
Oh, literally.
Yeah, literally all my friends are from the internet. And we've been training together here and there.
Yeah.
I'm excited to talk about running because it's literally all my brain ever thinks about these days, especially as we get closer and closer to the Dopey Challenge. This one's going to be my second Dopey Challenge. So I'm right there with you as a beginner. Just scared.
Okay, you're more intermediate. You're intermediate. I'm a beginner. But yeah, like literally, I want to say we probably had been following each other on Instagram for like a hot minute.
Years.
Yeah, like I don't know how like early on you started your Disney Instagram, but we probably followed each other like so early on.
Yeah.
Before ever even meeting, and that's just how that goes. But what was it like? Didn't we meet for the first time at like a wine and dine party? Was that it? Or was it like...
Oh my god, yes. At least that was the first time we hung out. We might have met like through mutual friends before.
Okay, maybe.
But it was at a Run Disney wine and dine after party.
Yes.
We had been messaging, and then you were like, I'm kind of going solo. And I was like, great.
Yeah.
Let's have a drink. And that's exactly what we did.
Yeah. That's like the funnest part, I think, is that I started off... Well, when I moved back to Florida and like started signing up for Run Disney races again, I didn't really have a plan. It was just like, I'm just gonna go do it, whether or not like I can find someone to do it with me. And the best part about that is I found like other people who also were doing that, because of course there's gonna be other people doing the same thing that you're doing. Like, come on. And especially with Run Disney and like with all these popular races, it's so nice to have like that community to like meet. And that's how I like came across Ashley and came across you, and like now both of you are my running buddies and like my go-tos for getting through like these super tough weeks of training, and it's so nice to have, like so nice. But before we get into questioning Shruthi about all of her deepest, darkest secrets, let's talk about highs and lows of the week. So I'll go first with my highs and lows, and then we can go through your highs and lows. So first, highs of the week. I don't really have a lot of, sometimes I have like a full bullet list like of all these things of the week, but this week not so much. But I am feeling pretty good about like the long run dopey simulation from last weekend, and I recovered so much faster and nicer than I was expecting to. And so coming into this week of training, having the short runs of, I think it was like 2 45-minute runs and then a 6-mile run on the Galloway schedule, it's like, oh, this is like such a light, easy week. Like only 6 miles for the long run, and I'm like feeling pretty good. My next high is I decided to post another budget video on YouTube, because if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you know I post all about my debt-free journey, and I've been slacking on like the finance videos, so I was really excited to post a December budget video and finally get that up there. And I got a lot of positive feedback and positive comments and messages of people being like, oh yay, like I'm so happy you posted it. So I mean, that's always like endearing. And my lows for the week, period cramps make me want to jump off a cliff.
Time of the month?
Yeah, it is. And I like honestly share way too much TMI on this podcast, but you know what? It's my podcast, so I can do whatever I want.
You know, break that stigma. It's my time of the month too.
Literally, I'm getting all my friends synced with me, but
that's the female alpha energy that you've got going on.
Oh, okay. Well, when you put it that way. But I will say, since it's December 2nd, I'm stressed because
I know, I've already thought about it.
I've been trying to manifest like starting like the 28th or like 29th of the month, because like then it's like over by the time like the run, or I mean like, you know, over enough, but whatever. Yeah, so I'm a little stressed about that. It is what it is though. So we're just gonna manifest good things. But I mean, that's really the only low I have of the week. Like it's a chill week. It's recovery week, and it's getting down and dirty for dopey planning. And I will say, like, a low is probably just the stress building up. Yeah. And especially since I've never done it. Whereas, like, something like the 1-9 challenge where it's like a 10K and a half, like, I've done that so many times. I'm like, that's
You know what to expect.
I know exactly what to expect. But, like, having never, ever completed a marathon, nor more than 2 races in a time for a Disney weekend, now having to do 4... That's, I'm stressed. But, yeah, I mean, those are my highs and lows. What you got? What were your highs of the week?
Highs are that I completed the Space Coast Marathon last Sunday.
You sure did, girl!
I was thinking, actually, we're kind of on, like, a really similar schedule. So, like, last weekend, we both had, like, really high mileage. And then this week, we're kind of, like, on a down week, which is also one of my highs, I would say, is that so I finished this huge marathon on Sunday. Huge for me just because it was just a really intense race. That's all. It was
just huge.
Yeah.
You ran a marathon last weekend. No big deal.
It was a lot on the body. So huge in that aspect. And then now another high is that I get this period of time to recover. And so like my brain is digesting things that are important to training that aren't just, you know, long running. It's also like nutrition and recovery and stretching and rolling and things like that. So like I'm really like focusing on that and then trying to add it back into my routine a little more regularly. So I would say that's a high, something I'm focusing on this week. And then lows would be, it's my time of the month.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect 28 to 30 days from now.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's out of my control.
I know.
It's literally out of my control. The other day, I was like checking the calendar and counting the days.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I doing this? As if I can like make it happen one way or the other.
I mean, to believe I can. I'm telling like, my body, no, you're going to listen up. Like,
right.
You're going to behave for once in your life. Like,
yeah. So, hi, Cinnamon. And then I'm trying to think of other lows. I'm bored without all the running, as much of it. I'm like itching, but like I'm really trying to be good and let
like
my
a true runner, just like
I know.
I want to get out there.
I can't believe I am like this now. But one of my lows is trying to take it easy this week. In that I'm like anxious that I'm losing my fitness and everything that I've worked on all these weeks. And this week, I just keep telling myself, take it easy, go on more walks than runs. So that's just where my brain's at. So it's a little bit of good and a little bit of tough.
Well, it's so hard because I get what you're saying with the itch. Like, and I've said this before on the podcast that I am like such a runner girl now. I'm like, I can't wait until my next run. Like, I'm so excited to like pack my stuff up the night before and like, I'm not a morning person, but like once I'm up in the morning, like I'm up.
You also get like addicted to that feeling of the after when you finish it and you're like, I did the whole thing exactly like I committed to. That is a really satisfying feeling that you get like addicted to.
Yeah, so I'd always heard that as like a thing that existed, like before I really got into running, and it was hard, honestly, during the running to even do that, because for me, I had never really gotten that feeling of like, oh, I feel so accomplished, like I feel so good after that, because well, for one, hadn't really done much event training at all, and it just was so... I hadn't built up any like strength or endurance yet, so of course it's going to be more difficult and it's not going to be as fun because your body is not used to doing that. But yeah, now I feel like I'm so much more comfortable with like, let me just go run a quick 3 miles or whatever. And
I know.
before, like, I could never have done that. And I mentioned in last week's episode as well how when I PR'd for my 5K and like decided to run the whole thing, like I had not run a whole of anything like ever, and I did maybe the maximum of like 1 or 2 miles like pre-dopey training, where I would like try and do endurance to like get me into the dopey mindset. But yeah, it's so crazy. And then once you do push yourself to a point, especially within running, it's like, well, gotta keep going. Like, I could so do that again. Or, like, I really love that feeling. And so now I need to go be better than that. So, oh, man.
Well, we're getting into that really high mileage. I think you have one more big long run. I've got one more big.
Yeah, there's one more simulation week, essentially. And for Galloway, they do want you to do the full marathon. And I'm not doing that. I really want to aim for 23, and realistically, I want to get to 24. Like, I want to get the 24 done, because I know, especially, and even Jeff says this himself, like, the farthest you go in training, like, your body will feel it up to that point.
I 100%.
On actual race day.
I 100% agree with that. Like, it shows up on training day exactly how you did it during your training block.
Oh, yeah. And, like, when you hit that mileage that, like, was the farthest you've gone before in training, and like from that point on, it will be strenuous and it will be painful and terrible, because you are pushing yourself further than you've ever gone before, or like maybe within this training cycle that you've pushed yourself. So I'm going in with the expectation of that already, like, because I don't want to do the full 26 before dopey. So I don't know, we'll see. I will be dying those last 2 miles. I mean, let's be real, I'm going to be dying the last, like, 10 miles, but, like...
But the good news is, after, you have, like, a couple of weeks of taper.
Yeah.
And, like, that's going to be amazing, where you just... All you got to do is keep up your fitness and just eat and chill, and it's going to be great.
I'm stressed. Yeah, like, literally, for this week of training, it's just 2 45-minute runs and a 6-mile long run. And, like, 45-minute runs are just, like, they're part of the weekly routine now. Like, I have my days, and I'm like, no, like, I can't go out. I have to run in the morning. Like, no, I gotta go to bed at this time. I gotta set my alarm this time. And, like, part of me is also nervous of, like, when dopey is over. I'm like...
So that's real.
I'm not gonna have the, like... build anymore. Like, it's gonna be the other side.
Post-dopey depression is real. Yeah. It is real. I was a little bummed for about a week, maybe 2 weeks, because, you know, I mean, it's 6 months of not only working your butt off, but also, like, being excited. Oh, yeah. Looking forward to it. And then, I mean, you bounce back. You make new goals.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Yeah, which, honestly, I could definitely see myself being, like, a real... committed runner still after, and like maybe even like wanting to work with a coach, or like wanting to work more on nutrition, or wanting to work more on like strength training to like improve my training for like future dopies or future races or future marathons, because I mean, I say that having not even like run a marathon yet.
Well, with how well your 5K went, and like post dopey, you're gonna be in the best shape of your life.
Yeah.
Or pretty close to it. Yeah. And you could consider PRing that Princess 10K that you're signed up for in February.
True.
Which can be used as proof of time in Run Disney for anything up to a half marathon.
Oh. We learning things today.
So I was going to say that, like, after I finished Dopey earlier this year, January 2022, I, like, used all that fitness that I worked on to my advantage and PR'd the Princess Half. And I know you're not signed up for that, but the 10K can be used. I'm not sure what exactly the, like, time requirements are. It's a little, like, it's scaled a little differently.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something to consider.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
You have to be super committed, not only to training, but, like, during the race. Like, there is no stopping.
Yeah.
There is no photos. Like, I didn't get a single photo or video or whatever during, like, that race because, you know.
Yeah.
You're just going for it. You're going from start to finish, and that's it.
Yeah, that's the tough part.
So it's something to think about.
Part of me, this is Run Disney's thing. They give you FOMO. And if you don't sign up for a stupid race, then you're going to be sad when everyone else is running it and posting about it and wishing that you did it.
I always say that Run Disney has mastered the art of FOMO. That's why this weekend, the upcoming marathon weekend, sold out the way it did because of this 90s theme, colors, the vibe.
The hype.
I also think it had to do with a couple things. Was the 50th anniversary, this past year's Dopey, and lack of Run Disney for a year and a half or so. Yeah. So, like, there was this buildup where, like, we didn't have access to it for so long. So then when it came back, everybody was like, I'm going to do it. Like, I missed out, which is great. And then everyone saw Marathon Weekend 2022, saw the 50th iridescent theme, and they were like, yeah, I'm doing that next year. Even before this 90s theme was announced, people saw, like, the power of it, especially after a time off, like a period of rest. It came back so strong. I feel like so many people out there were inspired by that weekend.
My whole year has been revolving around this.
Yeah.
Like, but
it's so good, though.
When you even said, you were like, okay, well, it's been, like, the past 6 months of training, and I'm like, yes, it has physically, but I feel like mentally, it's also been, a year.
Since April, I think April was registration, maybe, I believe April. Yeah. So that's most of your year.
But I decided to, that I was going to register for Dopey, or attempt to register, because, it was a scary time for everyone, but I, decided that I was going to sign up for Dopey, at Marathon Weekend earlier this year. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give myself a year. And then here we are! I am stressed.
So speaking of nerves, it's really funny that you mention it because last year, whatever you want to call it, the only Dopey challenge that I've done, I cried my eyes out the night before the marathon and the morning of. I cried and cried. I was also scared, and I also didn't make it as far as I wanted to in my training last year for a couple of reasons. But anyway, I cried. I was nervous, rightfully so. And then this past marathon I did over the weekend, the Space Coast, I didn't feel anything. Not good or bad. I was literally numb. My brain couldn't think about it. Yeah, and I think it's because one, I knew what to expect to a certain degree. Yeah. I mean, your body's never really ever, at least mentally ready for that. Because
it's a lot.
It wrecks you for sure. And I also think, waking up 3 days in a row, it just builds the anxiety. Yeah. It builds that feeling of nervousness in your body, and then you complete a half marathon, which is always hard. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. I feel like the half marathon distance it's a lot of mileage no matter what. And so you've just completed that and you were like, wow, that was hard. And I'm going to wake up and do it twice. And so I really think that's where a lot of the nervousness comes from.
Yeah.
But I always say, or at least from my experience, is that the marathon's hard because it's a marathon. It's not hard. It's not just hard because you have these 3 races beforehand. It's hard on its own.
Right.
So, you're going to do these 3 races, and it's going to be okay, and that's not going to be what makes the marathon hard, at least physically. It's just going to make it hard.
Oh, for sure. No, that's what everyone says, is, the morning of the marathon, you still have the majority of miles of the weekend ahead of you still. Yeah. You aren't even halfway. It's, that's the scary part. And like you said, the waking up every morning, because, again, I've only had experience doing 2 races. Like I never even did.
You haven't done 3 in a weekend?
No. So I've not done a 5K at Walt Disney World, and like I've only ever done.
Oh my gosh! So this is gonna be your first Disney 5K.
So I've done a 5K at Disneyland when Run Disney was over there. Okay. And that was when I only did a 5K. Like that was my one race for the weekend. I want to say I feel like maybe once I did a 5K and a 10K, like one time at Disneyland, and I never did a 5K here though, because I just like it was never my jam, never worth it for me. Like, yeah, you and I are like, nah, we don't need to do the 5K.
5K is not my favorite distance at all. I think Walt Disney World, as far as Run Disney goes, puts on a way better event and spectacle for the other distances.
Yeah.
So it's like something that I tend to skip on, or I'll sign up for it for like a theme or like a medal or something that's like really tempting.
Something that like resonates with you.
The course doesn't really strike me.
Yeah, I mean the courses can get a little tired, especially with like, again, I really like doing the 10Ks and halves, and like year after year they're usually the same.
Yeah.
And so that can get a little tough when it's like, okay, I've run Sunset through Hollywood like 700 million times, and it's the same every time, but like it's still exciting and it's still a privilege, and I don't know.
Run Disney puts their all into that marathon though. Like they pull out all the stops for that. So you're going to see like all new characters, new forms of entertainment. Yeah. It's a lot of miles, and like that's going to suck. There's no better way of putting it. Yeah. And like, especially with how seasoned you are in Run Disney, like it's going to feel fresh. Not just because of the distance.
Yeah, and I think one thing too that I really like doing is I never look at the course maps beforehand.
Oh, you don't?
Never. No. I'm like, I just like to be surprised. I'm like, where am I going?
Stop. Wait, I saw some people, and I really want to try it this season. I saw some people in my start group this past year.
Yeah.
They put the course map as their lock screen on their phone, so that they knew like what was like, so they're at mile 10 and they know like, oh, okay, like Magic Kingdom's coming up, so they would like go to the bathroom, get that done, or like have their snack before or something like that.
Oh, gotcha.
So I kind of want to try that. But
okay, that'd be a good idea. No, honestly, like I feel like I probably should start looking at the course maps.
You can check them out at the expo or maybe the night before.
Yeah, that's a good idea though, setting that as your lock screen, because I'm like definitely gonna have my phone like on my like legging pockets, and I haven't decided if I'm gonna like film stuff, but I probably will, because it's like first dopey. Gotta
get it all.
Gotta get it all. You only get your first one once, so yeah. When I was training with Ashley, she did 13.5 miles with me last week, and I think when we got to a certain mileage, she'd be like, "Oh yeah, so now we're in Blizzard Beach, and now we're by Grand Floridian," and like she would tell me like, "Okay, so like this is where we would be at this point," like.
Oh no, my brain's definitely thought that, like on some of my long runs. I just don't let myself really lean into those thoughts because they're kind of traumatizing.
See, we're so opposite. Like I feel like we like different things when thinking about the distance.
Yeah.
Because for me, I know I don't like tracking particularly. Like I'll be like, okay, like let's just go and focus, and then look, and you're like, oh, we already got like 7 down or whatever, like, oh, perfect, like we're already like 8 miles, and then you're like, no, don't tell me that, like, no, that's it, like, no. And I feel like we're like different, like you like to know, I think you like to know how many miles are left, don't you? Or like,
I don't even know, I guess it just depends on the run, right?
Okay. But I feel like when we did our training run, it was like, oh, I would say something, and then you'd be like, no! And then you would say something, and I'd be like, no!
Yeah, I definitely like to tune out, like, everything and just, like, accept that I'm going to be out for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, I don't need to know anything. Like, this is over when it's over, and I'm just going to keep going forever.
Exactly. That's my thought process, too, especially with these long-ass runs. Like, the 20-mile run, me and Ashley, like, we didn't map out, like, exactly where we were going to run. We were just like, let's just go this way, and we're going to be out here for half the day anyway.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Let's just get lost, which honestly is a part of the excitement for me for, like, the long runs, is, like, not really knowing your path and just kind of going with the flow and getting lost and going which way direction. So I always like exploring new areas in that sense. Now that I've done the 20 miles, I'm scared to, like, do it again in 2 weeks and then do it again on race day.
I mean, it's in a way, I think it's traumatizing, those distances, like anything over like 16, 17, 18. It's just, it takes a toll on your mind. It's asking a lot of yourself, like mentally and physically.
And I told you, right, that I was literally like...
No, that's so real. That is real.
Just dry sobbing.
I
couldn't cry.
This past Sunday, when I did the marathon, the Space Coast Marathon, was the second time I had made it past 20. So, like, I did Dopey's marathon, and then I did a 20-mile long run 5 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, when we ran.
Yes, when we ran together. And then I did the Space Coast Marathon. And as soon as I hit 20, just like you said, like your training shows up, you kind of hit a wall. But then even like beyond that, 21, 22, I started getting anxious.
Yeah.
And like similar to like the dry crying, you're just like your body's itching to be done and will do anything to be done. But then at the same time, your body's like, I can't go any faster. I can't move any faster. Yeah. So it's like kind of this push and pull where you're like desperate to be done, but you're also like, okay, my body's only going to take me so far kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's like such a weird feeling.
It's so odd because I think I had said it before that like I felt so invincible yet broken in a million pieces. Like, you're not running with a hydration pack for Dopey weekend, are you?
It's not my plan because it weighs me down. Right. I carry some tension in my shoulders when I have the hydration vest on. Yeah. But then I heard your podcast episode about in some year, 2018, 19 or whatever it was. They ran out of water. I had no idea. I
didn't either.
And now I am very worried. But I'm sorry, like the vest is not happening because I did the vest this past weekend at Space Coast because they only had about 10 stops for water. Yeah. Don't even get me started, man.
Okay.
There were only 10, maybe less stops for water and Gatorade. Wow. Like, you physically had to have brought your own to survive, especially with the temperature.
It was so hot. I could not imagine being.
It was by far the hottest race I had ever done. Because, I mean, I was at least going out there until 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon on a hot summer's day, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had my hydration vest. Thank goodness I did. And all I could think about was like towards the end, like mile 21 or so, was like, I want to ditch this. I really want to ditch this. And that's just like not what I want to deal with. So fingers crossed that Run Disney has it together with those water stops and that they don't run out, because I'm really, really hoping that I don't have to run with it. Or maybe I'll have like somebody, like a close one, spectate and like hand off a water bottle.
I was thinking that too, but it's
a lot of coordinating.
It's so much coordinating and then trusting that, like, it goes right the day of.
I mean, Disney traffic, especially on a day like that, is so unpredictable.
But it's so nice to be, like, self-sufficient and, like, have everything you need on your body and, like, not having to, like... Because for me, my thing, too, is, like, with the cups of water, the cups of Gatorade or whatever, I have to walk. And, like, I have to walk to drink it. I cannot chug it. Like,
I also can't chug it.
Yeah, I can't drink it fast. And then I don't want to, like, leave any behind because I want to hydrate at every stop that they have.
That's what I did for, in January. I drank every single stop. I had one Powerade and water without fail. And then I think the last several stops, I drank double Powerade. I didn't even bother with the water because I was losing so much salt.
Right.
And I did not have my own hydration belt or vest or anything like that, and so that was my strategy, was every single stop double up and I would walk and drink.
See, like, that is my strategy definitely for half marathons in the past, and like how I've been told to like hydrate, and because I was just so new to the experience, but now I kind of have my own like thing. But for the marathon, I'm worried that it'll slow me down too much. Like, I have to like keep a rhythm to finish, like, you know what I mean? Oh my god,
like, no, that's so real.
That's another reason why I'm like, I've been training with this vest, like, why wouldn't I use it on race day?
Yeah, totally.
But I feel like I always do different things race day, which is like, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, but you kind of can't help it.
With things like Run Disney races and like with your costume or like with the vibe of the day and like with the temperatures that you don't know, and it's just like, it is different than training day. Like, while you want to, like, emulate race day as much as you can only do so much. And for me, race days are so much harder than training days. Even if it's, like... I mean, I'm basing this off of especially my wind down experience, which was absolutely terrible. But at the same time, I'm
race
like,
days, especially
race days are
with
just
Run Disney, are kind of, they are tougher because you're also on a weird schedule.
Yes.
That throws off everything. And like you're eating, all of that's just
I'm
weird.
about the eating.
And then if you're staying on property, it's another level of weird because you're eating weird stuff.
Yes. Which
and then so you're going to the bathroom at weird times. Like all of it.
Yeah, my body is not ready. I mean, it's ready. It's ready. Not ready. But ready.
Hey, listen, you have done so much more training than I guarantee you many other people out there.
See, people tell me that, but like, it's that.
You're like, it's not enough for me.
Like, I don't know. Like, people say that, and then it will make me feel a little bit better, but then the problem is, like, I'll feel too good about that. And I'll be like, yeah, confident. Like, I'll get a little confident, I'll get a little arrogant, which is exactly what happened for Wine and Dine, which, like, was a slap in the face, and, like, obviously I learned from that. But, yeah. So now I feel like I need to be the right level of stress going into Dopey weekend. But, yes. Okay, so speaking of staying on property, like, I have never stayed on property for a Run Disney race here. I think I did at Disneyland, which it's different there. You just walk across the street with everyone else at whatever the 3 a.m. and you don't have to like catch a shuttle or like worry about your hotel shuttle like coming in, all that kind of stuff. But I am for this race, this whole weekend, taking off work and everything. But you have stayed on property for the races.
Yeah.
So what was that like?
So I've done both now. So I used to live out of state and then, you know, I'd stay on property. And then even after moving to the state of Florida, I stayed on property a few times. Yeah. Then I like, you know, commuted from my own home, from the comfort of my own home. So I've definitely got to compare both and like done the pros and cons of both. But as far as staying on property, you have to obviously pack double of everything. Because
you don't have all your things.
No, exactly. And you have to guess the weather, which is already a challenge, not only for race day, but like during the day as well. So you're packing double outfits because you need your race stuff and then you need your outfit for, you know, to do whatever you have planned for the day. So that's packing, and then packing nutrition and fuel, socks, shoes, etc. If you're flying, pack like all your necessary running gear in your carry-on.
Oh yeah, you have never to check never like, check the necessities ever.
And then whenever I'm staying on property, I book one table service per day.
Yeah.
Just at least one, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, because I, like, with running these distances, I need a square meal. Yeah. Like, not a quick service moment, not a Mickey pretzel. Yeah. And, like, I can't just, like, have an ice cream for dinner. Like, I need my one square meal per day that I can count on. And the good thing is now Disney has updated their dining service where you can cancel your dining reservation 2 hours out as opposed to a whole day
the day before,
which is so important for Run Disney. Oh my goodness, because you'll do a race and maybe you feel awful and you're like, I can't make it to this character lunch that I thought I could, and you can cancel it while you're running or whatever. Totally. So that's like something I always recommend is the table service, and now we have that added ease of cancellation.
Yes, do love that. And thinking about fueling and how I'm only gonna have like this tiny mini fridge and like I'm bringing my oat milk and
I bring so much food into the resort. I have like
I'm gonna have to like meal prep.
I have a short list of things that I always bring. I can share it with you, and it's mostly just like snacks. Yeah. And like
I have like a running list of like every little thing. I'm like this particular tape, this particular type of Band-Aid. Like bring all of it.
All of it. And so the snacks in the room really help, especially when you're also too beat up to go out to dinner. So like I'll keep like bagels or something like that in the room. That's a good idea. Made the mistake, like the very first Run Disney weekend I ever did, I stayed at Pop Century for Princess Weekend, and I ate Pop Century's quick service the night before because I had some food in my room because I came kind of prepared, but not as prepared as I should have. Okay. And I learned my lesson from that. I learned my lesson because not only was that meal inedible, like I also didn't have like a fallback plan in the room. Yeah. And like I was fine, but like I said, I really like to rely on having one square meal a day.
That's a very good tip. I feel like I need to start a grocery list of things that I'm gonna buy like a week out and just like have it all ready and like planned out, because I am such a over-prepared psycho. Like, I have to make lists. There has to be itineraries. Like, there has to be, like, reservations and schedules. And, like, this is military time.
I'm such a planner. I'm a control freak, 100%.
Oh, yeah. I have such a problem. Like, it's so hard for me to go on trips where it's, like, someone else is planning it. Because I'm like, okay, but, like, what did you think about this? And,
literally,
like, why? Where's my schedule?
A say on this.
Where's the schedule? Like, what time are we going with the flow? Like,
no, that is so real. It is so real.
It's like, I've been on a few trips. Like, of course it's gonna be fine. Of course it's chill and fun and, like, still have a great time and everything. But it's, in the back of my mind, it's driving me nuts. I'm like, no, but, like, where are we going here at this time? Like,
After I finished the marathon in January, so I did it with my brother and my mom. And we all finished together within, like, maybe 5 minutes. But we all finished together. We all, like, got our stuff. You know, they give you a bunch of stuff after, your medal, blah, blah, blah. And we're putting, like, our stuff in our bag, like your Powerade or water bottle, getting ready to, like, get on the bus to go back to the resort. And we get our final stretch in. We'd all brought a protein shake to, like, slam right away because we knew we'd be starving. So smart. We had our protein shake. We, like, snacked out of the snack box a little. And then we get on the bus and we go back. And we had dinner plans that night. So we have our one table service for the day. I didn't make, like, a lunch plan because I knew we'd be too tired after the marathon. I sat in that bed after I had showered. I was starving, but I didn't have any plans till dinner. My family's passed out. Like, my brother and my mom are not good. And I'm, like, starving, like, horizontal, eating Reese's. like it's popcorn, though, because I'm so hungry. Right. But, like, at least I had something in the room. But have something in the room is the point. Oh, my gosh. Okay. But I was literally, like, horizontal in bed at Coronado Springs, like, with the Reese's. So...
Okay, so bring, like, I'll get, like, bread and, like, peanut butter, like, peanut butter sandwich stuff.
They have, like, those little individual peanut butters, the little tiny ones. You can get those. Yeah. So I've done those. I'll do peanut butter, the little guys. I'll do bananas, apples, sleeve of bagels. You can do mini yogurts, grapes, carrots, things like that.
Okay, so I always have a bag of your chips. List with me.
Yes, a bag of candy, because, you know,
the munchy stuff.
You're a human. Right. You need regular stuff.
That's really
I'm not a rabbit.
With the protein shake thing, though,
the protein shake,
I need to do that.
It was warm, but, like, I didn't care.
No, like, once you just down it, like, you'll feel it in your body. Like,
I drank it in 30 seconds, if not less. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I just bought, actually, to try out these, like, plant-based shakes or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just don't, like, I prefer to choose things dairy-free. And if it's dairy-free, it's, like, usually, like, vegan. Like, it's the whole 9 yards. It's not just dairy-free. Yeah, it's, like, it's the whole thing.
They check off all the boxes.
Right. And so I tried these out. I found them at Publix. I feel like the brand's, like, Evolve or something. And... It was the only one that's dairy-free is a problem, and it's so hard to, like, find that option. But anyway, I tried it, and it was absolutely disgusting. But I, like, still downed it, and, like, you feel, like, your veins, like, perk up and, like, come back to life a little bit. So it's so necessary, especially, like, immediately following, like, that run or whatever it is. So that's a great idea. I need to, like, do that and... add it to the list of 500 things. I was joking with my mom that she was like, oh, like, should we bring like a check-in suitcase for the weekend? And I'm like, I will be bringing a check-in suitcase for me and my stuff. You need to bring your own suitcase full of all your stuff.
Yeah, because you're not flying, so you can bring as many bags as you want.
We can load the car up. We can go to Costco. Like,
literally.
We can bring everything. And I always do, especially with my friends, like, when we do staycations and stuff. They're like, Annika, you brought an entire, like, large suitcase?
I brought my house.
And I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? What kind of question is that? I drove here, right. But, yeah.
So this will be your first time staying on property for a Run Disney weekend, so that means it'll be your first time relying on the transportation. Are you taking your own car?
Part of me is, like, again, the control freak in me is like, no, I'm still going to drive myself. Yeah. But, like...
I mean, you've had success with that, right? Like, have you had any... Like, I know some people have had some horror stories with driving themselves.
Really? Well, I mean, of course, there's always, like, the random...
going too late, et cetera.
Well, see, that's the control freak. It's like, no, I will be leaving by 3 a.m., like, latest. Yeah. Like, that whole thing and, like, trying to plan it out. And with recently, though, I could see how it could become a horror story, only because it's like, it's just me, and then I have to like take Cinnamon out and then make sure I like leave my house, and like I live a little bit further now and like leaving enough time. So it'll be different when like I have my family to like lean on, and like my dad can take care of Cinnamon. I don't even have to worry about it, and
just like any small details,
all those small things that could steer you in weird directions. But I was talking to Ashley about this because we're staying in the same resort. We think we might try and like walk to the shuttle together in the mornings, and like at least for the like the 5-10K kind of thing.
I did that with somebody once. So like one of the weekends I stayed at the Swan, and my friend stayed at Boardwalk, and we like just met up and met at the bus and walked together, and like we were able to totally coordinate, no problem.
Yeah, which I've never shuttled from a resort in the morning for like the race, so that it just scares me. But I'm like, thousands of other people do it successfully, so like why would I have an issue with that? But
I've had really good experiences with it, and there are horror stories the same way there are with people in their car. I think what it really boils down to is being late. Either getting in your car late or getting on the bus late, and you're stuck in traffic because everybody else is late too.
Right.
And that's just not what you want to get yourself into.
That's a good point.
So I think regardless of the car or the bus or shuttle or whatever you choose to take, it's just all boils down to being on time.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you have a problem with.
Yeah. Which, like I'm going to have my sunrise clock that I use for every race morning, and like for training runs too. Like it's so nice because I cannot get up with my first alarm ever. I'm not a morning person in that sense. And I just get stressed because I've had times where my phone alarm, like, it'll say it's going off, but no noise is coming off.
Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't go off.
What is that? Because that happens to me too.
What is that,
like,
Apple?
What is that?
That's just rude. So I always, like, at least have 2 alarms, but then part of me is like, well, do they do wake-up calls too? Like,
I
at
know.
the
What
resorts?
time do they do wake-up
Can I
calls?
have Mickey call me at 2 a.m.?
Yes.
Like,
absolutely.
and then my poor mom, because, like, we're staying in the room together all weekend, but she's only running the 5 and 10K. Like, but for the half and the marathon, I'm going to be like, nope, Mom, lights out. It's 8 p.m. Time for bed. Like, I will be waking up at 2 again tomorrow. And, like, she can go back to sleep, but, yeah. And, like, having it not be my bedroom where I can, like, flip on all the lights, like, blast music or, like, do whatever I need to do and not have to, like, be quiet. Which, of course, like, she, like, doesn't mind. Obviously, she knew that going into it, but, yeah. Ugh.
Do you have a plan for, like, breakfast or maybe snacking in your hotel room before getting on the bus? Or
for breakfast, I always do, like, always do, before all my runs, I do overnight oats. And for long runs, I'll also have my Starbucks double shot espresso can. And that always works perfect because it's like my body is so familiar with that, and it, like, I know exactly kind of like how to time it and how to do that. So like I said, I will be bringing my whole carton of oat milk to the hotel and, like, making my overnight oats, like, before each of the days. And I finally did get to make my park reservations too.
Oh, I haven't done that.
So, yeah, I just kind of, like, randomly did some, but I really wanted to get Magic Kingdom for Sunday to go do my medal picks.
Best of luck to you, because I will be in my hotel room sleeping all night.
So, I want to get it done then because, like...
Did you take that Monday off, the following day?
I did, but that's the day where I will be laying in bed in my home and no one will bother me. So that's where I'm, like, I'm already going to be, like, kind of up and at 'em on that day. So...
I wish you could see my face because I'm in shock.
What do you mean?
I'm worried for you.
For going to Magic Kingdom?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally going to be like a let's go.
Are you going to go right after, like, in your outfit?
I don't think so.
Go back to your room and shower.
But see,
but
I'm checking out that day.
Checking out that morning.
I know.
So you'll have gone home, at least, to your actual home.
Yeah.
Freshened up, and then head back out.
Probably.
Your dining reservations.
Let's talk about outfits.
You want to talk about outfits?
Yeah, because...
Well, I feel like you and I are really on the same page with outfits.
It's hard
because... we love doing something.
Yeah,
like,
you want to do something.
fun and on theme, or, like, at least true to yourself. Mm-hmm. And also, you and I like to be comfortable.
Yeah.
We are sweaty.
Practical.
We are sweaty individuals who need, like, functional product on our body. At least I do, for sure. Like,
I need
my stuff to perform for me.
Exactly. And, like, especially when you're wearing it for, like, 6+ hours, sweating in the Florida humidity, which, like, no matter how cold it gets here, it's always humid.
It is always humid.
Which makes it colder on those, like, really cold days. And I'm probably going to get another pair of running shoes. So I have 4 running shoes, one for each race, because if one gets wet and, like, I don't know. Like, I just like having all my things.
Absolutely.
But I still don't know what I'm wearing, like, for the half. I think me and Ashley know what we're going to do for maybe the 5K, but we still don't have outfits for, like, 10K and half.
This 5K, I wanted to do, like, some sort of elaborate costume, because, like, that's the one where you can, like,
go crazy.
Yeah, you can be a little ridiculous. Like, I don't need, like, sweat wicking, whatever.
Yeah, because it's
biker
like,
shorts.
It's so quick.
Right,
yeah.
right. And I don't have anything for it. I don't have anything for it. The rest of the races, I'm feeling pretty prepared. Like, I got all my little details and my knickknacks and my accessories.
Send me what you got. I want to see, like, what you...
Everything. Amazon, baby.
No, Amazon. But, like, I want to see, like, your, like, outfit plans.
Yeah. I'll send you some pics.
Just for, like, inspo. But, yeah, like, for the marathon, I'm definitely keeping it simple. Just, like...
Yeah.
Dopey color scheme, but, like... functional things.
I'm really curious to see what we'll see as far as costumes go.
Oh,
because there's gonna be a huge, like, 90s thing.
Yeah.
And also, Marathon Weekend is the weekend where people do costumes with no theme. They don't care.
Yeah.
They pick their favorite Disney character. They pick the niche, weird underground thing. Yeah. They pick their favorite ride character, whatever. Like, they just do whatever.
Those.
I do too.
Which, like, I wish I could be that creative. Like, I'm just not.
I love it so much. And, like, I love, like, in contrast to Princess Weekend, or maybe, like, when it was a Villains Weekend, you have this, like, more open-ended.
Yes.
Where people, like, with, like, the creative direction, though.
Yeah. See, I like having a very, like, specific
Tell me what to do.
Tell me what I need to wear. Like, I can match the character that I need to match in, like, perfectly. Like, especially for Princess, I was so excited because I think I really like to match the medal. That's what I like doing. So whoever, like, whatever character's on the medal or whatever the theme of the medal is, I will likely try and match that. But with something like this, and I went through the same thing with Wine Dine, it's like I either didn't like who was on the medal, or it was, like, too difficult for me to wrap my head around it for, like, something that would work for me. So, yeah, like, for the Princess half, I, like, made a Mushu costume because it was, like, Mulan on the middle.
I loved it.
And I was so excited about it, and it was so fun, and it worked out perfectly, and it was functional and cute, and I was so happy.
So spicy.
Like, I was so happy with photos, and, like, I loved that feeling, and then now I'm, like, stressed because it's all about the feeling and the vibe of, like, well, I'm not going to be as happy as I was at that point. We're, like, after that race. So now I'm, like... got to put more thought into it, but we're running out of time.
Also, like, it's 4 races. If that means, like, putting your all into, like, your 10K costume or your half costume, and then, like, slowing it down for one of the other days and just wearing athleisure with, like, a matching pair of ears.
Right.
Instead of trying to, like, halfway do all 4 days, kill it on, like, 2 out of the 4 days, and then the other 2 days, or whatever it may be.
True.
Scale it back.
For the 10K, I want to say last year, but that was still this year. That was literally January.
Oh my god. I know, I keep saying
that was literally
last
this year.
But that was
last Run Disney season.
Last Run Disney season, yes.
But literally this year, I have to catch myself every single time. Crazy. But I literally just wore... Because at that point, I was still like, let me just throw on leggings or whatever color I feel like wearing, like, morning of, and that's it. There was no real thought into it. And I just wore, like, a normal outfit. I put on, like, a tutu and then just a pair of Mickey ears and called it a day. And I was still really, really happy with, like, how photos turned out and, like, how the race went. So
as long as you feel cute, like, you're winning.
Yeah,
you are winning.
So real. So real.
I also feel like I haven't gotten to this point yet, and I really want to, and at the same time, it just hasn't happened. But it's totally a rite of passage to wear the race shirt for the race itself.
See, I think isn't that bad luck?
Oh my god, is it?
So here's the thing.
I found out that touching the medals at the expo is bad luck, and now I'm like, I will never touch the medals. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you gotta pray to the medal gods. But, like, anyway, so you haven't met my friend Allison, have you?
I don't think so.
So
do I know an Allison?
I had her on the podcast like really early on, but
no, I haven't met her.
Okay,
I know who you're talking about.
So she's like a runner, like running coach, like races and like wins her age divisions and stuff. And I think like, and we were also roommates for a time, and so like a lot of things about running and races like I asked her about because she was like my go-to person. And I just remember along the lines I feel like she was the one who told me, and Allison, if you ever listen to this, tell me if I'm right, but I feel like she was the one who told me that it's bad like in the running community, like you don't wear the race shirt on race day.
I feel like I see so many people do it even outside of Run Disney. So like any other like
right, like people do it, but you see them and you're like, oh, they don't know.
Oh, they shouldn't have done that.
Oh, they don't know. They don't know. Which like do whatever you want, do whatever makes you happy. Like who cares? Like if you want to wear the shirt, wear the shirt.
Right.
But like that's just what I heard.
It's bad juju.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in that. I don't know if it's like a in your brain placebo effect. Like
no, I'm literally gonna go home and Google this.
You're like, no, we gotta get to the bottom of this.
I need to get to the bottom of it, and then I will never ever touch it again.
And the same with like the I did it shirts. Like people will wear them.
Oh, I know. Okay, that's like a
you didn't do it yet.
No, Paul and I talk about it all the time. Which it's literally a pet peeve of ours. My boyfriend Paul, and we'll see like people they'll buy their stuff from the expo and get their shirts, and then we'll go to dinner later that night. None of the races have even happened yet. I did it. Challenge. I did it, and it hasn't happened. And like literally, it's just clothes. It doesn't matter.
Right. Right. It does not matter.
It's just funny.
It is funny, and if that's one thing, is like of course like it's funny and like fun, and they do have some cute shirts to like wear after the race. Like I would definitely do that, or like the generic ones I would wear before. But see, I have a thing now. Like I won't wear the race shirt because however many years ago I want to say that she was the one who told me that.
Yeah.
And like that's a thing in the running community. Like people who know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Well, now I know, apparently.
Gosh, you're supposed to be an intermediate veteran.
Well, the thing is, I just like I go to like all these other races outside of Run Disney, and like I said, I saw people wearing it, and I was like, oh.
Okay, moving on to the final segment, by the numbers. Let's do our countdowns from the posting date. I'm going to post this on December 5th, which is a Monday. So we've got Dopey Challenge, January 4th. I have a counter that like will show me the difference between dates because I don't always like track it from the day of me recording. But this tracker told me no months. We're at the 0 month mark, and I just about lost it. We are 30 days away. Less than 1 month. Someone punch me.
Now we're counting by the days.
Now we're literally just by the days. Dear Lord. Which the whole reason I like started the countdowns in like months and days versus only counting it by days was to make it like seem more close, I guess, and not so far out, because when you have such a big number in days, it's like, oh, that's like forever away, but it's really not. Princess Weekend, we've got 2 months and 18 days. Springtime Surprise, we've got 4 months and 8 days. And then that's it for the Run Disney season this year. That's crazy. It's literally flying by. That driving me nuts. But pace update, I'm staying strong at that like 12:30, 13-minute mark with my walk runs. Which what pace did you do your marathon at?
Pace was 13:30, which is not typical for me at all. I'm typically in the 10 to 12 range, but anything after I get past like 16, 17, 18, I slow down significantly. Yeah. Which actually didn't happen on that 20-mile run that we did, that long run.
Well, I did 17, you did 20.
Yeah, but I stayed like 12:30 the whole time to 12:40, but on race day, stuff happens, man, on race day. So 13:30 for any like that distance.
Yeah, which I looked back at my splits for my 20-mile run, and like me and Ashley had some times when we would like walk a little bit slower on our breaks, and we did make a stop at Walgreens and Publix, and like we didn't stop our watches or anything, but I feel like for actual race day, it's gonna need to be like, no, I need to like stay on the 60-30 and like keep my pace like so on it.
I definitely took easier intervals from the start, and then like easier intervals than I normally do. And so I started out really, really easy, and then I went even easier on the last few miles.
Okay.
The last couple miles, I didn't even have it in me to do intervals. I just walked a lot.
Yeah.
I was exhausted.
Well, so my problem is if I don't tell myself, like, get back on the intervals, like, I will literally just walk and then slow down so bad, and then the balloon ladies will catch me. But that's why I'm like, especially at least with this training run I did too, that was one of the reasons why I was like dry sobbing, because I was like, you have to keep going on your intervals. Like, I forced myself to stick with it, which I was like happy that I did, but it's so tough because making the transition from walk to run when you're like, my knees were so tired,
exhausted. Yeah,
it's so
that's
tough.
what I was struggling with too at the end, is like, so I even told myself, I was like, just do 5 intervals and then you can walk for a little bit more.
Right.
And then do 5 more intervals and then you can walk a little bit more.
Right. Just have that little,
but my body was really giving up.
Oh, yeah. Gosh.
And with that weather too, I really think I could have gotten a way better time, and
the weather,
all these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And like I talked about it a little bit on my Instagram about how I feel like, and for anybody training in Florida, it feels like you're constantly being held back by the weather. But like, hey, what do? You just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because that's totally out of your control. But like sometimes it's really, I get down about it because I'm like, oh, I could have been faster if it was 10 degrees cooler, or if the humidity was half as much, and all these things. But whatever.
Yeah. And even
we make the progress that we make here.
Right. And it's like there's always something too. So
right,
it's like,
exactly.
This is like the best that you can do.
If it's not like hot weather, then it's elevation somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. I'm noticing a little bit of a dip in the weather soon though, like at the end of like the week. So I'm like, all right, keep going down, get cooler.
I've been checking extremely inaccurate weather predictions for
this.
Right.
Because with Florida, too, you can't trust anything more than, like, an hour ahead. So, I'm like, at least now that we're within 30 days, I can at least start looking at, like, a 30-day forecast. And
like some temps.
And
just some temps.
Manifest, like, what I want from the 30-day forecast. But, oh, yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, total mileage, let's see, probably around 13-ish miles this week, which is a lot less than last week. But, yeah, oh my gosh. Be sure to follow next week's episode, how week 24 goes, which, again, these weeks 23 and 24 are, again, lighter before the final simulation week. But, oh, dear Lord. Wow. Much notes to take, much plans to prep.
We got it. We got it.
But yeah, so thank you so much, Shruthi, for coming on. I'm so happy that you could be a guest.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
I love talking about all things running. All the time.
Oh yeah, even before we started recording this, we were like chatting about running forever. And Sini.
So sorry.
She's like, yes, I would like to say goodbye too. But thank you so much for tuning in, and get moving! Oh my goodness!